Hi everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I'm going to be showcasing you the second game of locals where I'm going to be playing D-Brigade and my opponent's going to be playing Armadillomon Armor Rush. And if you're looking forward to this video, please do like and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. And yeah, it's something that I wasn't expecting to play today, but my friend here decided to play Armadillo Rush. Yeah, it's a very interesting deck. I think most of the stuff came out in BT8 when armor became a major thing, and I don't think we haven't really seen that much armor purge stuff since that set, so I think it'd be interesting to go back to that, well, get some more cards like that. But he goes into the Armadillomon, I believe this is, which allows him to do minus 3k. So yeah, my Haguru goes, and one of the best things about decks like this is the fact that there isn't really much you could do in a weird way. Like obviously not a lot of people have read these cards, so there's a inherent value and advantage that comes into playing a deck like this, and it definitely looks fun for sure. I believe this is also Digimon, which I believe when he swings, a suspended guy gets minus 2k. So I swing a security with the Commandramon here. I hit a Shakomon, so yeah, not the greatest, but you can see that I'm not doing very good here. I'm having to play another Izzy Azumi just to see if I can get some more cards going, and I just play Congo to slow down my opponent's turn, because I think that is what I need to do at this point. Don't think I really have, well, I can't play a rookie, because if I play a rookie, could be susceptible to, you know, deletion from DP reduction, and yeah, so just slowing down my opponent is probably going to be the best course of action here. And he has a rapid one, so 3 armors is really difficult to deal with, especially when you're playing rookie rush, essentially, because, well, let's face it, I mean, you just can't do a lot because there isn't enough good removal in the deck. There's obviously cards that I play like Death X and Ultimate Flare, which could definitely help in this situation, but obviously, you know, they're not, you know, always going to be there essentially. Thankfully, my opponent only has I'm on 5 security at the moment, so I'm feeling a little bit more secure at the moment. But yeah, it could definitely all just change. So he swings with the Rapidmon, hits a 2k Hagurumon there, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to continue swinging at this point, because I don't think there's really any benefit or disadvantage to doing that. So he plays Fire Rocket, he's able to do that because there's an Armor Rush guy on the field, does 2 security checks, and at this point I realise that I'm in quite a bit of trouble, because, I mean, what am I meant to do when it comes to Fire Rocket? He plays, I believe this is Armor Purge. This is a misplay, so what he does here is that he does it for free, but you have to pay for the cost, so he shouldn't be able to do the swing here at all. Big misplay from my opponent's side, but yeah, I mean, I didn't check the cards, so I guess it's a bit on me as well. But yeah, we realised it later on in the series, because I was like, surely that card's just broken if you could just do that, and it turns out it was. So yeah, so at this point, the having the Rise Grey out here is actually somewhat nice in a weird way. The reason why I say that is because now it doesn't have Armor Purge, so if it had Armor Purge still, it probably still would be a bit of an issue for me to deal with at this point, because, well, I can't really deal with the Armor Purge. If it stayed at that, then I'd have to like swing into the Digimon and then swing into the Armadillo. So I think my opponent, weirdly enough, I think he shouldn't have gone into it in the first place. Cheater. No, I can't complain. I've done so many misplays on this channel as is, but yeah, so I think if he stayed in the armor, I think he would have been a lot more better off, I think. So I swing with the Dartdramon into the Digimon, and this is because at this point I feel like I'm just going to go for the Ultimate Flare. So I swing at security, hit a Cody. Cody's probably the worst thing that I could have hit here, because it has a minus DP effect, which is very unfortunate, and obviously my opponent is going to get a lot of resources. So I think the only things I'm worried about here is potentially an unsuspend. So if the Submariner dies, for example, I think I could be in a bit of trouble, because he can then go to like a Magnamon, for example. So he uses both Codys here to do minus 4k, deletes the Sealsdramon, swings into security, hits the Defx, and of course he has the Magnamon to finish the game up. So we get into game 2 now, and I was definitely not expecting Armadillo Rush to work out pretty well, so it's got me a bit on a back foot here if I'm being perfectly honest in this situation. So yeah, I hit the Izzy Azumi and just put the cards, I believe, in the same order, gaining the memory back as well from the Izzy. So he goes into the Salamon, which I think is quite an interesting addition. I mean, it does, I believe, minus DP, but very interesting, I feel. Especially, I believe, as there's 3 Armadillos that you can play. There's like a generic one, there's a Searcher one, and I think there's another one. I could be wrong, but I thought you'd just be playing Armadillomon, just so that you can have cheaper access to the armors. But I guess not. I think... Oh no, there's only 2 Armadillos. I was thinking... There's the Searcher one, and there's like the generic like 4K guy that I have a problem with at some point. So at this point, I'm just checking the cards, and the I think that's like Clavis Angemon, for example. I was talking to my opponent here about it, and I was like, surely you just play like Shadow Seraphimon or like just Seraphimon? I feel like that's just better. And he was just like, yeah, that was one of the options. So yeah, we get great minds think alike, clearly. So I use Kazu here to draw a card and discard while swinging with Higurumon. Hits a Digimon. What do I expect? And yeah, my opponent hasn't had the explosive start that he did in the previous game, which is quite nice. So I'm hoping that I'm able to get through this game a lot more better than I did in the first game, because I was just having trouble finding rookies, and if I was to play a rookie it would die, so not a great situation to be in. So I played the Commandramon here, the 4-cost one that costs 5k, because I feel like that's more it can be protected at least, and then I also played the Commandramon to give him 4. So maybe I should have done that, but he swings into security with the Salamon here. Hits a Commandramon, and I believe it has a 1k DP boost from the egg, which bit frustrating, but hey, is what it is. He then plays this other Salamon. I can't remember what this Salamon does exactly, but he swings with the Armadillomon, it dies to security. I think it's one of the first times it's happened. And then he hard plays the Armadillomon, and this is the problem one, because I can't deal, like usually I could deal with like these bigger guys, but well, not the bigger guys, but like lower DP value guys, but that Armadillo, big threat, because 4k DP is quite a lot to deal with, as it turns out. So I popped the memory boost here, and I just played Defx because, I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't, if I'm being honest. I mean, it just clears the field, and yeah, just can't really do much about it. Swing with the Commandramon, it dies to security. Plasma Shot here, which I believe does, minus 3k and then minus 1k for each armor in the trash. So he deletes both of my Commandramons here. And then he plays the Commandramon. Oh, I play the Commandramon here to pass the turn. And I think my opponent, unfortunately, just can't really do much at this point. He has to play like a rookie out, and then he dies to the Death X. So not very confident, I don't think. And I believe he scoops it up to then go to game 3. So I think it's safe to say that we've got the duality of both decks there. One did pretty well, one did bad, and then vice versa. So my opponent gets to start off here by going into the Digimon. I go into the Commandramon here, and then I'm considering playing another Commandramon here, which is quite nice, and then playing the Sealsdramon, because I feel a bit more confident in this situation. I don't think he's able to delete it. So he swings the security with the Digimon, hits a Tankdramon. Wow, I'm surprised that happened, and then he plasma shots it, getting rid of my Sealsdramon, and then I'm very frustrated. Yeah, so I believe here I promote, and then I swing at security, hits a Fire Rocket, deletes everything with blocker, and yeah, last time I checked, Commandramon isn't a blocker, so unlucky for me, I guess. And then I just make a really bad play here. I go into Congo, into Sealsdramon that's suspended, and there's no real reason to do this because it doesn't protect me, and I'm just playing really bad here, if I'm being perfectly honest. So yeah, not great. So he swings into my Digimon. Like, I don't know what I was expecting at this point. Like, I'm just playing badly. Yeah, so he just ends the turn by playing the Kari, giving me 4 memory, which in this situation is quite nice. Might be able to set up a little bit here as well. So here my hand is a bit, I guess, interesting. I play the Prime Memory Boost to no avail. Of course, like, why wouldn't I discard 2 Darkdramons and an Izzy? Just classic Jordan luck. Anyways, so I think here I'm just considering my options, and I don't feel very confident in any of them, if I'm being honest. So I just play the Commandramon with the decoy effect. This is just because I just feel like it's more mana efficient, or memory efficient, not mana. And then he does the Armor Purge thing to do the Rapidmon to delete or suspend and then delete. And at this point, I decide to check Armor Purge or Armor Release. And this is where I realize who's cheating. So, naughty, cheater, can't believe you've done this. So, it would cost him the memory. So, I would go to 1, and then it will go to my turn. So, he still clears my guy, but he'll be forever known as a cheater. I'm joking. I've done so many misplays on this channel, if I'm being honest, so I can't really complain. And I think I'll probably do one later on in this game, if I'm being honest. So can't say I'm surprised by myself. Anyways, so at this point, I'm a little bit iffy about what I want to do. So I play the Darkdramon here just because I feel like he can't deal with a big DP monster or Digimon, so I feel pretty good about it in this situation. I'm just sorting out the order, and I'm making sure that I have a Darkdramon in that stack because I want to make sure that I'm able to constantly recycle my Darkdramons if the game ever gets like that. Swinging to security, and it's an Armadillomon, so thankfully it's nothing bad, obviously. And then at this point, I think I just end up playing a Tamer. We'll see if I can confirm that in a bit. Slow playing, obviously. No, look, slow playing. Just goes into the Kazu. I think I was potentially thinking of playing a Commandramon here, but in my opinion, just don't think it does enough. So here goes to the Shakomon, which I think is quite an interesting option for this deck. I'm not too sure what blue Digimon that you have access to potentially DNA Digivolve, because if you can do that, I think that's really big value for the deck. So maybe something to consider. I don't know if he actually runs it. I think it's like there's a blue one that does like one cheaper, I believe, for a yellow guy. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is that. So he was able to recover, and then he goes to my turn by playing the Cody. And then at this point, I just promote the Commandramon. I'm just trying to figure out like what are the options. I'm at 4 memory now because of the Kazu. Allows me to gain a memory for when I have a machine and cyborg at the start of the main phase. And I think here I'm just considering just building up my board a little bit here. So I go into the Sealsdramon for 2, draw, and I'm just considering my trash because I'm going to be able to draw into another Darkdramon. Hits a Kari, so not a great thing here. The Kari is obviously going to be very powerful because the Kari essentially just means that you're able to gain a bit more advantage when you do recover, and it seems like this deck definitely does have a bit of recovery. So I just end up playing the Tankdramon here, which allows me to play the Commandramon out for free. So this is the reason why I don't like playing Tankdramon this much, but when it does come up, it actually does matter a lot. But this is something that I was not expecting. It's the Shine Greymon from like BT4. You guys are worried about the BT like 12 and 13 variant? Oh boy, you better watch out. There's a there's a BT4 variant that apparently works very well in this deck, and unfortunately for my opponent, this is probably one of the most unfortunate things that could have happened. First swing into an ultimate flare, clearing the whole board, and I think at this point we both kind of understood that I'm pretty much, it's my game to lose, because I mean, what are you meant to do at this situation? Like when you hit a full board clear, yeah, it's just a very unfortunate situation. But you know, you play those cards to, you know, stop your opponent from gaining such a big advantage, and obviously it worked in that situation. So good on me for putting it in security, I guess. But yeah, obviously when you hit these like massive option cards in security, it does feel a bit bad. So I swing with the Darkdramon. I'm able to play the Commandramon from the Tankdramon and also give it Rush, which is going to be very impactful. And then I also play you get the Commandramon on deletion. That's a bit of a misplay. It doesn't matter because there's no Commandramon that was trashed from it. It was only option cards. But they're supposed to go to the bottom of the deck. So thankfully in this situation, it didn't matter because obviously having stuff like the Pride Memory Boost and I believe something else in the trash doesn't matter, but if it was obviously something like the Commandramons, I could potentially use them to get Darkdramon out easier, so thankfully it wasn't anything like that. So he goes into the Magnamon here. I believe it's something like 15k DP, so it's a bit scary to say the least, but unfortunately I don't think it does enough here. So I think he's just going to consider swinging with the Darkdramon into the Darkdramon, and then he's also going to play Cody to delete the blocker. And yep, so I get to add the Sealsdramon from the on deletion of the Pagu. And at this point, I don't think my opponent has really many options at this point, unless he's able to clear the field. He plays Wyvern's Breath to get rid of the Commandramon, and then I promote my Commandramon and then swing for game.